Hey garden friends, so the rains finally stopped. So I'm taking this opportunity to come out here and complete a little bit of pruning. Specifically, I'm pruning this little lime hydrangea right here. Here's a picture. It's hardy from zones 3 to 8, and it gets to be between 3 to 5 feet tall and wide. Right now it's roughly, I'd say 18 inches, about 18 inches tall and wide. These hydrangeas, which is called Hydrangea paniculata, can be pruned from mid to late spring, just as you start seeing new growth. All right, and the way you prune them, as you can tell, the spent flower blooms are still on the plant. So you just go in right above the new growth. Here's your spent flower, and you cut. Just that simple. And from here, this season, this new growing season, you'll get a new flower bud. So you go around to each spent flower and cut. Just like that.
Right here.
The good thing about Hydrangea paniculata is that it flowers on new wood. So even if you happen to go down a little farther, let's say down here, or let's say right here, below the first node, you'll be fine. You'll still get flowers. And the benefit for that is that you can prune a Hydrangea paniculata much quicker. Then you just reach into the plant, remove any of the leaves that are smothering the interior of the plant. Okay. Try to clean that up as much as you can, the best that you can, without breaking any of the branches. And there you have it, a freshly pruned Hydrangea paniculata. Now we'll move over here to this Hydrangea arborescens, or Annabelle, and you pretty much follow the same procedure. Just go right under last year's blooms and cut it off. Now, a question I sometimes get is, if I don't prune my hydrangeas, will they still bloom that same year? And the answer is yes. So depending on the severity of your cuts or your pruning, the more severe you cut your hydrangeas, which are arborescens and paniculatas, you'll get smaller blooms. You'll get smaller blooms, but you'll get more profuse blooms. All right. So it'll send out a lot of blooms. Now over here, I have a few Hydrangea macrophyllas, which are the mophead style hydrangeas. Let me see if I can come back a little bit. Not sure if you can see the outline on this this mop head. This here is called Nico Blue, and you got to be very careful in pruning your macrophylla hydrangeas because you don't want to prune off the current season's blooms. So with these, I come right up under last year's blooms and cut that off. Because if you're to go any further down the branch with the macrophylla, you can cut off this current season's blooms. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. And as long as you know when and where to cut on a macrophylla, you can speed it up. All right, and that, my friends, is a properly pruned Hydrangea macrophylla. Now, generally, you would like to prune a Hydrangea macrophylla right after it blooms, because you don't want to take a chance pruning it in the early spring, because you may forfeit some of the blooms for that very same season. And in some cases, all the blooms. Oh, I'm trying not to step on these ferns I have around them. All right. So here's another Nico Blue. Here's the branching structure. And you go right up under last year's blooms and snip. Snip. Right here. Snip. It is a soggy mess after all this rain. But believe it or not, we're behind in the rainfall for this season because we didn't receive much snow this past winter, so we have to catch up. So I'm thankful for any rain we get. All right. Let me see if I can back up here without crushing anything. All right, so this Nico Blue is nicely pruned. Good to go for the season. These get pretty big. Nico Blues can get anywhere between 6 feet wide and 6 feet tall. Very tall. Very big plants. Now right here I have a hellebore. Let me see if I can find out what the name is. Here it is. So it's called Ice and Roses. And in cleaning up a hellebore, it's really simple. You just want to remove any of the tattered leaves. Right here, you go down to the base. You go down to the base right here, and you just cut that off. Cut that leaf off. This one's pretty tattered as well. You cut that off at the base. Go. Remove that. This one as well. Sometimes when pruning your hellebores, at the end, it just ends up looking like nothing but flowers, because all of the foliage is so tattered. All right. This one. All right, so this one looks fine. This one next to it is a much smaller one, and you can see it's putting out new leaves. Everything is so fresh and bright green. This one behind it looks to be in pretty good condition. Well, maybe this branch right here might need to come off. But these leaves look pretty good, so I'm not going to mess with this one too much. This hydrangea right here is a climbing hydrangea. Hydrangea petiolaris. And I try not to mess with this one because I need all the growth. I need all the growth to spare. So eventually I like it to go up this pergola and provide a nice canopy on top of this pergola. So with the petiolaris, I don't cut. I may come in here and just remove some of the dead leaves as to not promote any fungal growth from the decay of the leaves. But other than that, I definitely don't prune it. And in fact, I need to tie this up just like I have the other stems up along this post of this pergola, just like that. So I'll get to that at a later time. All right, garden friends, so that's a wrap. I just showed you guys how to properly prune several hydrangea varieties. Arborescens, paniculata, macrophylla, and with the petiolaris, I leave them alone. All right, guys, see you in the next one.